Well, this was quite an adventure that I had today. I had decided to go out to Mount Hamilton to go to the Lick Observatory, one of my favorite little spots that I kind of found accidentally. I had seen this route earlier in the year and really mapped it out because of the switchbacks and hairpin turns character on the road, as it were, versus straight thoroughfares, as I had noted in my last video. This is noteworthy today because this is the second time I crashed, and what scared me about this ride, this is not the route that I had taken before. I'd gone up to Mount Hamilton twice, and I went Mount Hamilton. It's actually called Mount Hamilton Road. This is called Quimby, so this is a different route. This is another way to get there. And I'd never been on it before, so even though I saw the map and saw it was very squiggly and, adventurous, I wasn't sure what to expect. The first time I had gone to Mount Hamilton, I did take some of those hairpin turns a little too fast, again, being a new rider. So figured I'd give this one a shot, not really knowing what to expect, but also knowing it was going to be tight turns. I was about 30 minutes into my ride from the house, and I took a turn that each of these signs is a little confusing, actually, because there were signs on these curves that the arrows were facing each other. I think I'm not sure if there's one here, but a couple of these turns over here have the same kind of indicators, and it was a little confusing initially. But they were tight, like super tight. These are ones where they were harder to turn than U-turns and circle turns that I did on my driving test. So anyway, so here's what happened. Driving up, I'm going uphill. I overtake a car that was taking it slower. Waved at them, I said thanks, and I wasn't going very fast. I mean, you don't go fast going uphill anyway. And I knew, since I didn't know this route, that I needed to go slower regardless. So I get to this one spot, and literally for some odd reason I didn't switch to first gear. I was in neutral, hit the throttle, and nothing. I mean, I was rolling, but I knew I was not in gear, and by then it was already too late because I was already in the apex of the turn, going uphill. Like it was a sharp uphill, sharp, tight turn. Freaked out, obviously, but it was more like I just want to make sure that another car is not coming down. So I tipped over, literally tipped over to the right side of my bike. I wasn't hurt in any particular way. Again, I was only probably going about 3 miles an hour because of how tight that turn was, that curve, and got off the bike. I think I had rolled over, I don't quite remember, but I couldn't get Raphael back up. I couldn't get the bike up because of how I was angled inside this pocket on this curve. The car that I had overtaken earlier had caught up with me, just checked on me to make sure I was okay, but I was struggling to get the bike off the road. My biggest concern wasn't necessarily the bike, it was the cars coming after me that wouldn't see me in time or run over my bike. So luckily, I think a lot of people who've ridden this route before kind of know to take it a little bit slower anyway. Luckily, another car, it happened to be a moving truck. 2 guys ended up coming out to help me. It was the only reason why I was able to get the bike off the road and out of that curve. We took it over to a shaded area along the guardrail, but I was shaken. I was frustrated, obviously, but I was more like, oh my god, how am I going to get home? And that's when I assessed the damage and realized my exhaust had fallen off. My camera had fallen off. I have a camera up near my right foot, and saw a little movement on my right handle lever, my front brake. So I was a bit concerned that I wasn't going to be able to get home. The guys in the moving truck had offered to drop off whatever they were doing and come back and take me home. So I waited around for a little bit and then realized, I might be okay getting back. I turned on the motorcycle and it was fine. Nothing had been damaged other than the fairing. And I was a little more concerned about the exhaust being a little bit too loud. I mean, literally sounded like a Harley. But as soon as the exhaust was cooled off, because it was super hot, again, it's metal. It's on a piece of pipe that's where all the heat comes from. I waited probably about 20 minutes to let it cool off and decided, I don't know when the guys were going to be back. I didn't want to rush them. They may not be able to get the bike in the truck. So as soon as it was ready, I strapped the muffler on and drove. So the only thing that was different was just the fact that I was really loud. Other than that, though, my bike seemed okay. Just some aesthetic scuff marks on the right side. It's ironic that that's the same side that I fell on my driving test. So nothing cracked off as far as I can tell. It's just, just a little bit more damage. So things to take away. I'm thankful that I actually wore my riding jacket, even though it was like 80 degrees outside. Normally I would wear, and this is not necessarily a good thing, I would wear a light jacket that has no protective gear in it. So the thing that I could tell you right now is definitely wear the right stuff. I wore pants, knowing that it was going to be hot, but hey, you don't ride shorts. You're stupid if you do, honestly. It's just, if you feel naked, if you're not wearing something that's covering your entire body. I'm already pushing it by just wearing regular shoes. I do have hard-toe shoes, Doc Martens. Those are my riding shoes because they don't give. I wasn't wearing my gloves though, that was the other thing. So I do have a little bit of scratches on my right hand from falling, but otherwise I'm okay. I could say without a doubt this was one of those lessons that I don't think it scared me in the sense of I can never ride again. It just continues to make me cautious and thankful that I can ride. I still enjoy, taking on curvy roads. I don't think it's going to change. Obviously, that particular road, I would love to try it again and hopefully not have the same problem versus roads like this. So this is Capitol Expressway. This is actually a memory for me because this was the route I used to take when I lived in San Jose 2 years ago, that first summer. So these are the ones where it's like you don't think, you don't have to think too hard about how you're riding. You literally just hit the throttle and go, versus the curvy roads, the challenging roads that are fun, in my opinion. But you really have to be on. Like you have to shut everything off. You have to focus on the road. These long stretchways, you don't have to do anything. Just make sure that when you're crossing lanes that you remember to check, versus assuming that nobody is there. I was able to get him back home. I'm thankful that I don't have anything broken. So there's my Sunday adventure. Again, never a dull moment.